Peter, for helping us set up the meeting today. Hopefully we can make this a quick one and then everybody can get back to what they need to be doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. And I'm gonna call the roll real quick, just to make sure who all is on the call. Louise McClelland, Jesse McDaniel, present. Teresa Tessner,
present.
Evan Cox,
Here.
William Rooks, and Terry Plochet.
Here.
Okay, great. So we have 4 members here. That is a quorum, and we will move ahead with the agenda. If we can have someone make a motion to adopt the agenda.
So I can do that. I make a motion that we adopt the agenda pursuant to Governor Ivey's proclamations. The Mobile Tree Commission has determined that an online telephone conference is necessary to perform essential minimum functions of the commission and necessary to respond to COVID-19.
All right, you've heard the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, motion and a second. Any discussion on that? Thank you, Teresa and Terry. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. The ayes have it, so our agenda is adopted. Next on the agenda would be the minutes. We don't have any minutes approved today, so we'll skip over that down to the treasurer's report. And I know that we had our secretary treasurer's not with us on the call today, but Bert did send out a financial update, and I will just read through that really quickly. So beginning balance on July 1st was $33,704.07. We had income of $5,200, and then expenses of a lanyard ad in the amount of $330.98. And that left us with an ending balance on July 31st of $38,663.09. The income was from, looks like 4 different sources, and those were listed in the information that Bert sent you before the meeting. Do we have any questions on the treasurer's report? Hearing none. Do we have a motion to approve the report?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the treasurer's report, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say no. All right, hearing none, the ayes have it. And we don't have any, so the next item on our agenda would be permit requests, and we don't have any permit requests on the agenda today. So that would take us straight into our other business. And the first item, request for proposal, strategic planning. This was in reference to the RFP for strategic planning services that we approved to send out at our last meeting on July 21st. And we did that.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if any of you may have picked that up and saw it. I did, and it ran, and I got confirmation from the lanyard that it did run. And we received one response to the RFP, which I shared with you a week ago today. And I can pull that up. I'm not sure if you all had that in front of you. Probably would help. You could pull it up. And I hope I'm pronouncing it right. It's Xylo International Group. Like I said, I hope that's correct pronunciation. But we received this proposal, and I want to just give you a second to make sure that you have that. If you could kind of just nod and let me know, or give me a thumbs up if you have it.
I have it.
I have it.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. And William was not able to join us today, but he actually did share some of his thoughts by email earlier in the day. And so I wanted to take this opportunity to really just kind of open up a discussion about this and kind of gauge the thoughts of my fellow tree commissioners and see if y'all thought this was something that we should pursue, or if you felt like there was some unreadiness, or just kind of hear what the ideas are as far as this particular RFP goes.
I was kind of taken aback by the fee proposal of $2,800. That seems awful low, but they have an open end with their expenses and travel, and that could be another 5,000 or something right there. I don't know whether it's worth it to ask them to give us an estimate of their expenses, what would be extra, because 2,800 seems awful low for what they're coming in from Denver or wherever they are, close to Denver, and doing all this stuff.
Yeah, and it said the 2,800 was inclusive of all expenses, including travel.
You might want to reread that. I thought it was 2,800 was just the $100 an hour, 28 hours, and it had.
Well, Terry, I'll read it, and then we can, just keep.
Well, I might be remembering wrong. Go ahead.
So this is beneficial for anybody that may be listening anyway. So on page 8 of the document, it's got the price proposal, and it says, quote, "Our proposed fee for this project is a flat fee of $2,800 for all project work, inclusive of all expenses, including travel, secretarial support, report production, faxing, and subsistence." Xylo's hourly rate is a discounted rate of $100, and we expect 28 total hours for the project. Our team has the mix of skills and values for the scope of this project, and we at Xylo would be honored to partner with you to achieve your goals. We are very excited about the prospect of working with you and providing you with the resources and services needed. We are committed to serving our clients' needs and will be available at all times. So that's what it says on the.
So the expenses is in that 2,800?
Yes, that's what it says.
That to me is raises a red flag right there. That is way too little for something that much to be done by somebody so far away. That's my opinion.
It raises a red flag because you think it doesn't include their expenses. The hourly rate is for the work, that part is.
I took it to mean that the hourly rate of their actual work was 2,800, and then the expenses and everything else was in addition to it. I might be, like I said, I can't pull it up right now, but he just read it, and it sounds like I just misunderstood it.
Right.
But, that just seems awful low ball.
Well, I mean, it doesn't seem to include any actual travel, or, which makes me wonder, do they plan on doing this remotely via Zoom? Because they do reference Zoom meetings in the proposal, just kind of in passing. So I assumed, because of that number, I also assumed that they would not be traveling here, which was a concern of mine, trying to do this via Zoom in hours broken apart. And, because I think Will's point in what he sent out is a very good one about, the number of hours over a number of weeks, can we even manage to do that amongst us? Can we block out that amount of time over that short of a time frame even?
Yeah, so we might need to get some clarification from them just to make sure we're understanding what they're saying. I just whenever you get a low ball, it's not like you got 3 or 4 prices and one guy's a low price, but it just seems awful low.
Yeah, and let me offer this just as a food for thought. You know, in the RFP, we set the $3,000 mark was the, you know, we wanted to come in under that $3,000 figure was one of the criteria. And obviously this person did that, but being out of town, they look like are going to rely on technology in the virtual setting to do most of the real work. So that's probably how they were able to come in under that $3,000 mark.
That might make sense, yeah. But I'm just saying,
Yeah, but
maybe we need some clarification from them just to make sure we understand.
well, and also, I mean, I think it's fair for the tree commissioners to say, well, even if we want to go with this kind of a service, it really needs someone that can do it in person. I mean, that's what I'm kind of understanding, but that's just food for thought. I mean, I just wanted to throw that out there. I still would like to hear from others if you've got any thoughts on it.
I agree. One of my main concerns was also, I assumed from reading it that they would be coming here electronically because, I mean, if they have a total of 28 hours, you can't even travel from Colorado to Mobile round trip, hardly for much less than that. So I would be a little concerned about whether somebody from out of state could really get a good handle and a good understanding of sort of what we're doing here and the dynamics of the tree commission and things like that without being physically present, and sort of just having boots on the ground to kind of get a feel for things here.
Okay.
Yeah, I have
Thank you.
more concern.
Say that again, Teresa.
I have a similar concern about that whole, enough interaction in that amount of time, electronically over distance that we could really, whether it could really facilitate what we need to have happen. So I have a similar concern about them being long distance and not local, so to speak.
Okay.
And I think even if we had a local company or entity interested in doing it, if they still wanted to do it remotely because of the environment that we're in now, I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to that or think that's unreasonable. To me, just the combination of being totally out of state and not familiar with this area, that to me is what made it more a little more concerning.
Thank you for that. I appreciate all of the feedback from you guys. I think it's really good to hear your thoughts. Just my thoughts on it. I personally was hopeful that we would have more responses to the RFP. So I guess I was kind of disappointed we only had the one to consider. But as with anything, we certainly want to make sure that we are making decisions together that everybody's comfortable with. So, we first want to do no harm. And my goal is always to be constructive and hopefully to improve our, service to the public. And, there's some great ideas and things out there, but I really was hopeful that we could come together around some kind of a plan to do a work session or a planning type session, and was disappointed that we just didn't have more of a response. So I'm always willing to kind of back up and look at it again. Terry, I appreciate what you said, and look, I mean, we just try it again. That's all I know to say.
Or either that
if it's
or
not.
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I said either that or we could just get back with them and just get them to, maybe this is how they work is digitally like that over Zoom or something like that. And it might be perfectly okay if they've got experience in it. I'm just saying, I'm thinking of normally when you do, like you get somebody in here to do a master plan for something, they gotta come here, they've gotta go and walk the site and everything. There's no site obviously, but that just was the first thing I thought of. It just seemed too low.
Okay. Well, so I guess what we can do is if you all want to just do you think we need to make a motion to table this or do we just can we just skip over it on the agenda since there's some unreadiness? I would feel more comfortable if somebody would just make a motion that we table the issue.
I make a motion, we table it and discuss it at a later meeting.
Okay.
Second.
All right, so there's been a motion to table question about the RFP and the strategic planning process until a later meeting. And so we had a second from Teresa. Is there any discussion on that motion? All right, hearing none, I would just ask if you're in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. And if you're opposed, please say no. Okay, I don't hear any no's, so the ayes have it, and the item is tabled until a future meeting.
Good.
All right, so as always, I want to give opportunity for Mr. Toller to, bring us up to speed with his report. And I see Mr. Garrett also, his name there. If he wants to give a report, we'll be glad to hear from Mr. Toller first if you want to go.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Sorry about the camera issue. At least I have audio. This past month was a pretty heavy duty, severe weather month. We had a combination between limbs and trees falling into the road, 93 incidents that occurred. It really took away from our day-to-day operations. We had to take care of 6 traffic signals. There was the main one we took care of that was in the public eye quite a bit was at Dolphin and McGregor. Other than that, this month was mainly a severe weather month. I mean, there was some nights where we would work from 7 o'clock at night till 4 o'clock in the morning. So it was quite involved. I hope all of y'all fared through the month okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Peter. We appreciate what y'all do. And any questions for Peter?
Nope.
Teresa, I'm sorry, Jesse. Teresa, Eric and I are working on your issue around the corner from your house.
Oh, thank you. I mean, in fact, with the storm that we just had, about 15 minutes ago, I was like, oh, I could be gone by the time we start. But so far, so good. So thank you.
You're welcome. All right, I'm on mute.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Garrett, do you want to give an update?
Hey, yeah, sure, Jesse. Yeah, guys, I mean, echo much the same as Peter with the storm events we've had lately. It's really put us in a reactionary mode, much like it does every year, this time of year. We just about stopped all the routes to deal with the reactive ticket work we've had all over the city. Just one thing I'd remind you guys to be aware of too, to let your folks know, if we come out in the middle of the night, a tree falls, and we come out there in the middle of the night to get it out of the road or out of the power lines and out of the road, unless the city picks it up on the city right away, any of that debris that's blowing down in those storms, it's really going to be the responsibility of where the debris ends up. The property owner, whoever's property it ends up on is kind of where they usually. The only time I'll send a cleaner crew out with like a roadblock issue or some type of a public safety issue, then we'll try to pull a crew to find somebody to go out there with them. But generally speaking, on reactive storm work, we're not going to clean up that debris. It's going to either be the city and or the private property or a combination of both, private property owner, a combination of both. Other than that, we've really not, this is pretty much business as usual with us. And, we do our best to places where we've got routine crews working, we're going to clean it up if we can. But, when it's so scattered out across the state like it's been, it's difficult for us to maintain a cleanup crew as well as a restoration crew. But just something for you guys that you might hear some complaints about us on that. But, feel free to forward them to me, give me a call and let me know if something we can look into. But in a lot of cases, unfortunately, when these big trees give it up, it's, if wherever they land, where they're going to be until somebody, has to move them. We had a few go down here recently that were, it's taken cranes to get involved and lots of heavy equipment, and we do our part when we can, but we're a little bit limited on the storm cleanup. But other than that, it's been business as usual.
Oh, this might be a question. I don't know who this is a question for though, but talking about that, if you have a pile of debris and it is, let's say, in the right of way, I think the city, is there a way does the city know that pile of debris was created by you guys versus just somebody cleaning out their backyard, so that they'll pick up maybe an extra big pile that they would normally say, no, homeowner, you can only have a pile so big to get picked up? Peter, do you or Bert know how that gets coordinated?
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes, go ahead, Peter.
All right, Teresa, on that, Eric and I are working on a program to where we can work with the citizen. The trash department has been short-staffed, and their vetting process of large piles is they try to get to all of them. We're trying to channel the type of situation you named through urban forestry. If Eric does have a tree that goes down, if it's a very tense area because people don't want a big pile left in front of their house. But if it generates from their private property, well, it typically has to be a paid pile. But if it's a city tree that fails, or if it's a private tree where part of it hits the right of way, we pick that portion up. The rest of it typically has to be worked out with a private contractor.
Okay, gotcha. All right, great, thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, well, I appreciate those updates, gentlemen. And that concludes the business on the agenda. I did want to pause here and just make an announcement about what Bert shared, because we did have a request come from, it's like the Downtown Mobile Alliance organization, sent a letter asking for some support. Certainly want to consider that at the right time. We'll get the information that we need in order to make an informed decision about that. Hopefully at our next meeting, we can talk about that. So I don't have any other announcements. Does anyone else have an announcement?
I just have a question for Bert. We got, Bert, after the finance was read, we have roughly 38,000 in the bank. If, like, we give something to downtown, would that come out of that money?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. I told Bert earlier that the letter that, God, I'm drawing a senior moment here, that it was in her letter, Elizabeth's letter, just mentioned a couple of trees, and that, there was no way of indicating what all was going in. And I think we need to get a little more information from her about a number of trees, just to make sure, I know they have to clean out the roots of the ones that are being taken out and everything else. And I think that's what Jesse was talking about, to get more information.
Jesse, if I may.
Yes, Peter, go ahead.
Yeah, Elizabeth, they only did half the process. I told them that it will require, essentially what they're wanting to do is they're wanting to replace some of the maples downtown with palms to form a continuous line around a building, I think it is. So I told them any tree that would come down would need a permit through you guys, and then the planning request would be after that. So only half of it's been done. So next meeting it'll get taken care of, hopefully.
Okay,
Yeah, because that was one of the questions that I had, not only about the permit for removal of anything, but then the specific addresses for where trees would be going in. And of course, I had a question just in general about, are those the best candidates? I know they have a proposal for those particular palms, but, I would certainly like to hear more about, whether that's kind of the best tree for the best spot kind of as well.
Yeah, that's her first time filling out a request like that, which I think it's great that the Downtown Alliance is interacting with you guys on that. That'll be a good partnership so you'll have a idea of what type of canopy works downtown as well. That little inkling of knowledge is pretty strong too.
And yeah, especially was without the addresses, the specific addresses, then I want to, that we don't have a private property situation similar to something like we did, 2 months ago, where we had a business owner, building owner who needs to remove a tree. He was then, it was on his nickel, so to speak. So I just want to make sure we're not stepping over somebody's private property kind of thing, and that they need to be the ones making the request. Or not too, since I wasn't sure about which addresses were involved.
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, these are at all tree wells downtown. So that's what it'll involve. It should be pretty cut and dry.
Well, I think that there's enough questions from Bert, from Terry and Teresa. I think we can certainly just follow up. I don't mind reaching out to them myself if that's needed, and just trying to get some information. And we may want to invite them to come, Terry, and speak at the meeting and
yeah,
just
yeah. I've
just
done that before.
so if they can do that, maybe that would be helpful. So we'll try to follow up with that this week and see if we can get that moving. But always excited about the opportunity to plant trees. I think we just want to make sure we're being, good stewards of the funds that we have. So
Exactly.
I just want to say, if there's no other announcements, guys, I just want to say thank you all for your time, and everybody just stay safe, and hopefully we can, start seeing each other again in person in the near future. But at this time, I guess I'll entertain a motion that we adjourn.
Motion entertained.
All right.
Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye. All opposed say no. All right. Well, we stand adjourned. Terry, thank you.